Hey guys, it's been a while since we've last spoken. A lot of things have happened. A lot of really big things, a lot of really big lessons. I don't know. I feel like I should share or something. And my main goal is that in the process of sharing, I get to somehow reflect upon, it's almost like a diary. I'm sharing it because I believe in honesty. I believe in lessons, and it's also a form of documenting these things. And I'm also sorry because I feel like this video is going to be a bit more boring or irrelevant, but I would assume that if you're here, it's because you are interested. Anyway, so a few months ago, I competed at the IBJJF Atlanta Open. The day was June 13th, so I feel like if I am to accurately tell you guys this story, I need to tell you a little bit of the backstory, so you guys aren't as confused and you actually understand what happened. Anyway, in the past few months, I've been really adamant about competing, really testing myself and winning those gold medals. I feel really inspired when I see Jiujitsu athletes and friends compete and do well, so I kind of feel like there's a lot of me to give. I forget the numbers because I'm not really a measurement type of person, but I usually weigh in at 180 pounds. That's usually where I compete at, and my coach wanted me to go up to 190. The reason for this is that I would face less people at 190 than I would have at 180, therefore giving me a better chance of winning gold. So I said yes, and I said yes. And so I wanted to not gain shitty pounds, like shitty weight. I wanted to get healthy mass, muscle mass. I don't have a lot of it right now, but especially in this arm. And so I started working out like crazy, and I started drinking those weight gain supplements. And a doctor told me that he thinks I worked out so much, trying to desperately gain muscle mass, that I broke my system. I don't know what that means. But he says I worked out so much that my immune system crashed and I got really sick. And this is 1 week out from the competition. I had headaches, I had sore throats, I was aching, I was just dying. But I told myself, Luis, life is filled with challenges. In life, you will get tested. Things will break you. And so it's about how do you react? Do you face it or do you retreat? Are you capable of facing challenges? And here is one. Here in front of you is one. What are you going to do? And so I told myself that no matter how much I got sick, I would do it. What's the worst thing that could happen? I wasn't able to work out the entire time, so I was losing weight as opposed to me wanting to gain weight. And I didn't work on my cardio because I was sick. Anyway, the day of the competition is here, and the predominant feeling was like I was showing up to my own execution. I was worried about my preparation because I was sick. I was worried about my cardio. I was worried about still being sick. And I'm sorry for the competitors that I showed up sick for. I apologize. I could have gotten you sick. Stupid decision, yeah? I get there, the match starts, we bump fists, and he immediately pulls guard and gets me in spider guard, pushing my elbows back with his feet, extending my arm forward. He shoots in for a triangle. I defend it because I managed to maintain good posture. But then from there, my arm was extended. He moves into an arm bar. And here, I felt right here in my elbow joint, they go from good, good, to bad to worse, and then worse to catastrophic. And I felt a snap. I heard a pop. But I continued fighting, and then suddenly we get to a stalemate. And he looks at me and he says, "Are you okay?" And I say, Yeah, I'm fine. Let's continue. Good guy, by the way. Thank you for asking about me. So then we start fighting, and then the next sequence of events was the most agonizing feeling that I have ever felt. I managed to kind of pass his guard, but then he managed to slip out, and at that moment I'm like, my arm is fucked. I can't get you. You are slipping away. I am fucking unable to do this. And he was coming at me, and he was coming at me. and I felt like I was drowning. It felt like I was dying. And I felt that primitive switch from being in control, from being conscious, from being able to do things, to then that instinctual fight for survival. One of my friends yells from the bleachers, he says, 2 minutes. And I'm like, 2 more minutes? That seems like a fucking eternity. Eternity.
Luis, you gotta get out! You got 2 minutes, Luis!
Anyway, he ends up getting my other arm, and I'm like, no. At this point, I am done. And so I tap. And then the match ends, and I'm just standing there in just complete embarrassment, complete disappointment. And even after the match ended, I felt my fucking elbow joint was stiff. But part of me was like, no, don't think about it. It's nothing. You still have no-gi to do. And I was so tired. I felt like I was still dying afterward. Like I was at the point of vomiting. You know, it's like, am I conscious right now? And so a few hours later, I had to fight in no-gi. And I don't know how I was able to win that match. Here are a few highlights, I guess. But I won that match, but then the second match in Nogi happens, and we were in guard. He extends this arm out, and before he was able to do anything, you know, my arm was already fucked. I felt pain, and I tapped. And I won a bronze medal.
Isso mesmo. Não, mão no sovaco de novo. Levanta com ele. Doc. Luis, don't move your arm.
And so a few weeks later after that, I go to the doctor and they take an MRI and they confirm it's a torn ligament, a full thickness tear. And so surgery day comes and they operate my arm. And then I get out of the surgery room and it's kind of like a shock, right? Because you wake up in this hospital bed, you look at your arm, it's in a cast that doesn't allow you to move it. You're laying down, your leg is bandaged up again, and you kind of accept it at the beginning. The real gravity of your situation sets in, right? You start to kind of lose it. And the pain is also monumental. And so thank you everyone that helped me get through this process. I had to ask my sister to come down from Canada. She lives in Vancouver, to come help me with my arm. Because I could not. Every time I had to take a shower, I had to put kind of like a plastic cover over my leg and my arm so I wouldn't get it wet. You know, whoever says that they've made it alone, I have to tell them that from my perspective, from my life experiences, we stand on the shoulders of great people. And then from the cast, I got my brace, my restrictive brace, and then from then, you know, I haven't been working out. I've lost so much muscle mass. I look at my arm and I sometimes can't believe this is my arm. But all this time, you know, being at my bed, being in the hospital room, being unable to move, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and the lesson that I was able to get out of all of this is know your limits. Know your limits. because you have them. You have them. And the reason you have them is for you to stay in this healthy zone predominantly, right? Because if you cross them, which you occasionally should, but if you cross them with reckless abandonment and full force, how badly will you hurt yourself? This doesn't only particularly mean for physical limitations, but emotionally. When does like something affect you far past the limits you have? And so that's a very interesting concept, because in the competition, I told myself, I am sick and I know that I kind of shouldn't compete, but I am here, just to throw it all away. I felt like I wanted to prove something to my coaches, to my friends, to myself. And I feel like that's how I hurt myself, because everyone can encourage you, everyone can say to do it, but then when the competition is over and everyone has to go home, you go home with a broken arm. In the end of the day, it's you taking care of yourself, because everyone has their own life. And so you need to be the biggest ambassador for your own health and well-being. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming anyone. I was stupid and reckless, and so one has to assume that responsibility. And every time I speak of this story to someone, I say it with such shame, because my stubbornness is so humiliating. Another realization I had is my own flaws as a person, as Luis. I feel like everyone comes with really good qualities, but you also come with a lot of flaws, all of us. And I realize that my weakness is my mentality and the things that I tell myself, because at the end of the day, I feel like you are two people inside you. Almost like the one that talks is one and the one that listens is the other. I don't know. It's like, who do I live with? Who lives inside my own head? And what things do they tell me? It's almost like some of the times I attack myself with thoughts and words. And then I realized that part of the reason I went with so much reckless abandonment for that competition was because of how little self-care I have. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys my thoughts on what I've experienced, the things I've learned. Just say something. And then also, as I get older, it's interesting to look back on these things because they hold great wisdom, I think, somehow. Anyway, guys, thank you.